Live from downtown Detroit, Local 4 News at 11 starts now.
Things are calm as we take a look at our downtown sky cam. The forewarned weather team tracking chances for severe weather that could cause problems for the afternoon commute. Thanks for being with us, everybody. I'm Kimberly Gill.
And I'm Devon Fernandez in for Devin Skillian tonight. Let's get right over to Kim Adams with a look at what we can expect. Hey there, Kim.
Hey, Devon and Kimberly. We have temperatures tonight in the upper 60s, 72 downtown. It was a nice night for the Pink concert, made it through completely dry, but now we have to start thinking about tomorrow and our chance of severe weather. Now, in the morning for your morning commute, everything's fine. It's nice and dry. These storms are coming in a little earlier than our last several severe weather events, with showers and thunderstorms expected sometime between noon and 2 o'clock, continuing through part of the evening hours, and some could be strong to severe. So the SPC, the Storm Prediction Center, has placed us at a marginal risk, and it's for all of southeast lower Michigan. In fact, it's for a good chunk of northern lower Michigan as well. Marginal risk is number 1 on the 5-level scale. It goes all the way up to high. Wind and hail, the two primary threats for us tomorrow. Winds would have to reach 60 miles per hour and get some large hail in order to trigger those warnings. They might be just below severe limits, but definitely a line of strong thunderstorms coming through tomorrow. Then we start the beginning of a big warm up. By Sunday, we're in the upper 80s, close to 90. If you want to keep track of any warnings that pop up tomorrow, the best way to do it is to download our Forewarned Weather app. Just go to your favorite app store and type in WDIV.
Hey, Kim. The U.S. government says he's been wrongfully detained in Russia for 5 years. Tonight, the Novi native got a call from the U.S. Secretary of State. Secretary of State Tony Blinken letting Paul Whelan know he hasn't been forgotten, and the U.S. government continues to try to secure his release from a prison camp in a remote part of Russia.
Yeah, Mara McDonald is live downtown. Mara, Whelan isn't the only American being detained currently.
Demand, exactly. The Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich has been detained as well, which means the U.S. government has 2 Americans it's trying to free.
Secretary Blinken has obviously sent a message, and that message is for Paul and for our family, that the U.S. government is continuing to advocate for Paul and his release. It could be 2034 before Paul's home. I don't think that there's any reason to think that what the U.S. government is doing right now is going to lead to Paul's immediate release, or even release as soon as possible.
The Whelan family has been waiting for nearly 5 years for Paul to be released. He wasn't included in earlier prisoner swaps like the one that sent WNBA star Brittany Griner home. In June of 2020, a Russian court convicted him of espionage. 8 months ago, the U.S. said it made a substantial offer for Whelan's release, but heard nothing back from the Russians. Since then, the Wall Street Journal's Evan Gershkovich has also been detained in Russia, which means the U.S. is likely working on a new deal to get both men released. In a phone call to CNN in May, Whelan said he was hopeful it would happen.
There will be an end to this, and that end, I hope, is coming sooner than later. But it is depressing on a daily basis, going through this.
Back here live tonight, Whelan's family categorizes his talk with the Secretary of State today as long and frank. We're live downtown tonight. I'm Mara McDonald, Local 4.
All right, Mara, thanks for that update.
After pushback from parents, Dearborn Public Schools are now delaying their weekly early dismissal days until October. Earlier this month, the district released a tentative calendar showing early release Tuesdays to give teachers time to develop strategies for the classroom. But that decision left many parents scrambling at the last minute to figure out a new child care plan for the upcoming school year that's set to start August 28th. District officials say the delay will give parents more time to make arrangements, but still, there are many concerns about the weekly early dismissal schedule. Local 4's Will Jones spoke with a mother of a student in the special education program. Will joins us live tonight with an update. Good evening.
Kimberly, that mother has a child with autism, and she says having a consistent routine is very important. And she believes Dearborn public school officials didn't consider students like her daughter with their new calendar.
You guys sit down? Okay.
After Jeanette Warren enrolled her then 3-year-old daughter Quinn, who was diagnosed with autism spectrum disorder, in the early childhood special education program at Dearborn Public Schools last school year.
3, 2, 1,
She says her vocabulary expanded from 1 to more than 75 words.
So this is a big huge thing for her. And the teachers there are amazing.
But when the district finally released its tentative school calendar last week, showing early release days once a week, Warren started to have some concerns about how that would impact her daughter, who attends school only in the afternoon.
The routine is very big with her, and trying to change up a routine, you really can't do it sudden.
The district is planning to cut the school day by an hour and a half every Tuesday to allow teachers to work on strategies to improve student performance in the classroom. After reaching out to district officials, Warren says she was told that her daughter's classroom time will only be reduced by 45 minutes. But by doing that, the start of her school day will be moved up on Tuesdays. Warren says she would have preferred a 4-day-a-week special education program over the early dismissal days.
Because I'd rather her have 4 full days of a good routine and that educational experience, and then 3 days at home to where we can just add a day onto our routine.
Warren says early release days will not only impact Quinn's routine in the classroom, but also at home.
I don't know how much they put into consideration what that would look like for families.
We reached out to Dearborn Public Schools, and district officials say they understand some parents may not like the calendar change, but overall this will improve instruction and services in the long run. Live in Dearborn, Will Jones, Local 4.
We'll be watching to see how it works out. Will, we appreciate your report this evening.
Tonight, Detroit police need help tracking down 3 teens wanted in connection to the shooting of a Detroit police officer. Now, surveillance video shows the suspects running and hiding moments after that shooting. It happened Saturday morning in the area of Morang Avenue and Whitehall Streets. Officers were responding to a shots fired report. When they arrived, 3 people inside a vacant apartment building fired shots. An officer was hit in the leg. The suspects are believed to be in their late teens, early 20s.
New tonight, Detroit police investigating an Amazon worker who's carjacked on the city's east side. Happened around 11 a.m. in the area of Nottingham Road and I-94. Police say the driver was making a delivery when a man pulled up to the van. They say another man jumped into the vehicle and took off. The getaway vehicle and the delivery van was later found near Alter Road and Outer Drive. The driver was not hurt. The packages were recovered. If you recognize the suspects, call Detroit police or Crime Stoppers. That number's 1-800-SPEAK-UP. The Fulton County District Attorney proposes arraignment and trial dates for former President Trump and his co-defendants in Georgia.
In a motion filed today, Fonnie Willis suggests arraignment should happen the week of September 5th, 2023, and the trial should take place on March 4th, 2024. Mr. Trump and other defendants have until August 25th at noon to surrender to authorities in Atlanta for processing. And a date is set for a hearing for one of former President Trump's co-defendants in the Georgia 2020 election probe. The hearing will consider former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows' request to move his trial to federal court. The evidentiary hearing is set for August 28th.
2 men convicted in the plot to kidnap Governor Gretchen Whitmer are trying to have their convictions overturned. Adam Fox is serving 16 years and Barry Croft 19 years in prison. In new court filings, both argue they should get a new trial because the judge failed to address concerns about a potentially biased juror whom they claim became foreman. The pair also claim the judge imposed unfair time limits on their attorneys during cross-examination. A federal appeals court will decide whether to hear the case.
The 2 Nigerian men charged in connection to the death of a 17-year-old local man, Jordan DeMay, will be back in court tomorrow. DeMay took his own life last year after he was allegedly tricked online into sending explicit photos of himself. The men are brothers and accused of contacting young teens and men on social media posing as girls. Prosecutors say they convinced their targets to send sexually explicit photos and then extorted the victims. Tomorrow's hearing is in Grand Rapids, and we'll keep you updated on this one.
A federal appeals court Wednesday ruled to restrict the abortion medication mifepristone. The decision wipes away a lower court's ruling that would have taken it off the market completely. The pill is one of the drugs used to induce a so-called medical abortion. The court found the federal government did not follow the proper process when it loosened regulations on it back in 2016. The decision won't change the availability of the pill in the short term. That's because an earlier Supreme Court decision guarantees its availability. The Justice Department is expected to appeal.
All right, so Michigan State University is one step closer to selling alcohol at some sporting events. The Board of Trustees unanimously agreed the school should apply for liquor licenses to sell alcohol at 4 football games. The vote comes after Governor Whitmer signed a bill in July to lift a state ban on selling alcohol at college sporting events. If the liquor licenses are approved by the Michigan Liquor Commission, the university plans to sell alcohol at Spartan Stadium starting with the September 16th game against the University of Washington.